Good morning. Let's talk today about the 3 ways to quiet title when you buy a Florida tax deed. I know you know that it needs to be quieted, right? And we're going to explain it all right here today. Why do Florida tax deeds require curing? Well, simply put, because of the tax deed application process in Florida. I'm going to get into it right here. The tax certificate holder files a tax deed application. That's the first step. So a tax certificate holder, the tax certificate has to be outstanding for over 2 years and not more than 7 years. They make application for tax deed. So they go down to the clerk's office at the county administrator building. This is not a judicial process in Florida. So a tax deed application is not a judicial process. There's no judge. You don't go to the courthouse. You just go to the county clerk where you pay real estate taxes. The application requires full payment of any outstanding certificates. So there's going to be, I hope, maybe only 2 or 3, but there could be as many as 5 certificates outstanding, which will cost you a pretty penny. I mean, in the overall scheme of things, it's not a tremendous amount of money, but it's going to sting for a minute. Okay, additional fees and costs that you have to pay to the clerk. One of those fees and costs is for a title report. Florida Statute 197 says that the clerk that's going to conduct the sale has got to order a title report, which is great because all bidders have access to this title report. And there's lots of reasons that you want to lay your eyes on the title report. We're not going to talk about it today, but it's very important that you learn how to read it and you understand what you're going up against. Okay, so once the application is made, everything is in the right order for the clerk. Now notices are mailed to all parties of interest. So anybody that has a recorded interest as it appears on that title report, they're going to receive notices in the mail. And the notice is going to read pretty dangerously. The wording is precarious at best, and the top of it says warning. And it's a scary document if you read it and it applies to you. If the property is owner occupied, then they will get posted. In other words, the sheriff will post the warning on the door, as well as all the mailings that go out to all the parties. And the posting says warning, and that's a scary piece of paper. I have a copy of it in my training. You'll see it. You don't want it to be posted on your door. God forbid it gets posted on anybody that you love. So, okay, why do tax deeds in Florida require curing? Why do we have to fix that title before you can sell it? Well, not really before you sell it, but before you can sell it and offer title insurance to the buyer. Number 1, there's no authority to adjudicate guilt or innocence. In other words, there's nobody that you can go to and plead your case, because it's a case of either you're pregnant or you're not. Either you paid your tax bill or you didn't. If you paid the tax bill, trot on down to the administrator and show them, and they'll stop it. But other than full payment, there's no way to stop a sale. All parties only receive a notice of what's coming. So remember I talked about that warning document in the back? All that does, not that all that does is nothing, but all that does is it says, okay, you hadn't paid your taxes. This is how much is owed. We're having a sale on this date. That's it. You got no chance to do a dance. You can't talk to anybody. There's no judge. Remember, it's not a judicial pleading, not a filing in a courtroom. And most importantly, there's no due process. No due process, and I'm sure you heard that term before. So what is due process in Florida? I'm not smart enough to memorize this. And if I put it on the screen, it would be too small for me to read. So I'm just going to read it right here. In Florida, due process refers to the legal requirement that the government must respect all the legal rights owed to a person according to the law. It's a fundamental principle that ensures fairness in legal proceedings and protection of individual rights. This concept is rooted in both the U.S. Constitution and the Florida Constitution, which guarantee that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So, in other words, they have to get a process server to serve a document, and they have to be able to have somebody to talk to and say, wait a minute, there's been a mistake. You don't get that in tax deeds. So that has to be fixed. The only way it gets fixed is you have to quiet title. And I think there's 3 ways. Oh, look at that. There are. Okay, so what are the 3 ways? Glad you asked. You can hold the property for 4 consecutive years, pay the taxes each of the 4 consecutive years, and you don't have to do anything else. This is great because if you're going to be a landlord, you don't risk waking a sleeping dog. In other words, the other 2 ways we're going to do this are you might wake somebody up. But if you hold the property for 4 years, all you have to do after the 4th year is go to a title company and say, okay, I had this tax deed. It's all of record. They'll see that you didn't sell it. They'll see the taxes have been paid for consecutive years. And that company will be willing to write you a title policy, either just for your own self or for an owner policy or for when you want to sell it. So that's the first way. Hold the property for 4 consecutive years. That never appealed to me because I don't like to hold on to property. Back in the day I did, but I don't anymore. So I don't consider holding the property for 4 consecutive years. Okay, the next thing you can do is you can hire a specialty title underwriter. These are the 2 that I've used. Clear to Sell's in Palm Beach. Tax Title Services is based in Arizona. And what both of those companies have done is they got close to a title insurer, an underwriter like Republic or Commonwealth or one of the big underwriters, and they have title insurance underwriters. And they said, here's what we'd like to do. We'd like to offer to the public our services to quiet their title without the necessity of a quiet title lawsuit. And here's what we're going to do. So what these 2 companies do is, in order to insure title, they go to the county or they get the documents from the county that the county filed on behalf of this tax deed applicant. If all the documents are correct, all the notices are correct, then they have the authority to offer title insurance from the 2 underwriters that they work for. And I don't know who they are, but I used to, but I don't anymore. So they may have changed, but the fact is you can only get the title insurance policy from whoever Clear to Sell or Tax Title Services is holding hands with. But that's okay. A title policy is a title policy. This is best used when you're in a hurry because a specialty title underwriter can get them done. Clear to Sell did them for me in under 20 days. That's unheard of, under 20 days. And the cost of the policy are going to be equal to what a quiet title lawsuit would cost you. But the thing is, it's the speed with the specialty title underwriters. They can get it done fast. Lawsuits, of course, take their time because we have to go according to a judge's docket, to an attorney's time. So this is clearly the way to go if you want speed. File a quiet title lawsuit. Now, when I bid on tax deeds, I only like to bid on properties that are occupied by the owner. Because if the property is occupied by the owner, I have a leg up with being able to make a claim on some of that surplus. I talk about it in some of my other videos. I'm not going to get into it today, but I like the property to be owner occupied. And if it's a tax deed sale in Florida, the tax deed auction will start at 25, 35, 45, but it's going to get bid up to 150, 160, 200, who knows? It all depends on what the property value is. But a surplus is going to be created. So if the property is owner occupied and a surplus was created, if I prevail, if I'm the winner of that auction, I'm going to file a quiet title lawsuit because of the many benefits that I get by filing that lawsuit. I don't go into that in this video, but it's a part of my training. As a matter of fact, it's a big part of my training. I have a class that's being offered. It's on sale from October 1st to November 1st. The link is going to be somewhere in here. Thank you again for watching. And if this is on YouTube, subscribe. I think that might be fun. In any event, thanks. See you next time.